Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back, and welcome to, I guess, our new series. Just what we needed, another new series. So let me go on a little tale here, and I'm going to tell you guys about what's going on. So, we have a new series. This new series is going to be called FDR Logging, because I am FDR, and I am logging, and that's basically what we're going to be doing through these episodes. So, over the past little while, I've had a few different things come up with me trying to do more commentary series type episodes. I've had lots of people emailing saying, Jordan, why have you stopped doing the commentary stuff? We love the commentary episodes when you were logging and talking, and it made the episodes a lot more exciting. Some of the time-lapse stuff is really neat, but I think a lot of people wanted to have the more interaction with the, explaining what I'm doing, what I'm playing, and that kind of stuff. So the big thing that happened that changed that in the past while, and we're going to try this again, and we'll see how it goes. So I've had episodes of Log and Rant. I've had episodes, the FDR Logging show, which I created, and I actually was having a great time with that. Unfortunately, we're living in a time where any single touch of controversial subject matter can get you in trouble, I guess. So the FDR Logging show that I had was actually one really cool setup that I had, and I really liked that series. I loved it. I was having a lot of fun with it. I had big plans for it. Unfortunately, and I don't know the exact reason, YouTube doesn't give me the explicit details, but I guess several of the episodes were reported saying I was talking about inappropriate subject matter. I don't think in any of those episodes I really went down any crazy, hate speech or any kind of rabbit hole-y stuff, because that's not really how I talk in general, at least that I've ever seen in watching back on my own stuff. But I guess there was some reported stuff. Now, whether that was just malicious reporting from people who don't want my content being well, or maybe I actually offended some people, I have no idea. But either way, 3 or 4 of those episodes got flagged, and they actually just got pulled right blanked. So I had people going, "Oh, it's weird. I can go in to watch the the FDR Logging show, but I can only see episode 1, episode 4, and episode 6, or whatever it was, and then the rest weren't showing up." And I said, "Oh, well, that's super weird, because I can see them on my end." But then I went into them, and I realized that all of a sudden YouTube had flagged them all as these inappropriate things. And then again, it doesn't tell me what. It just says, video contains inappropriate subject matter, not fit for monetization, not fit for da-da-da-da. So it gave me the option I could mute the sections, and it gave me the sections, and I reviewed some of them, and I'm like, nothing in here is inappropriate. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I tried to go through the appeals process with YouTube. I tried to do all kinds of stuff. It was a nightmare, and you know what? I just got to the point where I was like, well, this is stupid. I give up. So I stopped doing the FDR Logging show. I stopped doing commentary other than the Logging Crew. And me and the Logging Crew, we talk about some weird stuff, and I've never had one of those flagged yet. So I'm not sure entirely what was going on there, and I still haven't quite figured it out. But I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm not going to worry about that. So anyway, the FDR Logging show came to a crashing halt, and it was very discouraging for me as a creator, because all of that content that I made basically became null and void really, really quickly due to that happening. So I was pretty upset about that. So now what I'm going to do is I have created this. This is the FDR Logging. This is FDR Logging, and it's going to be a random show. It's not going to be any kind of particular plan or setup. All I know is I'm going to do it per game. There's going to be the FDR Logging for Farming Simulator 22, 24, yada 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 going forward. On these episodes, I plan to be very gentle about my ranting. I don't want to get into anything that's going to get our episodes pulled like it did before. If there's any malicious reporting that goes in on these, I will know for sure that it's not going to affect the channel, because I'm not going to get into anything that can get too wildly controversial. I know that might take away some of the fun, because sometimes I love ranting about the ridiculous politics going on in the world, but we're not going to go there. So what I've decided to do is on these episodes, I'm going to talk about logging. I'm going to talk about what I'm doing in these, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Maybe I'll give you guys tips and tricks while we're loading and cutting. Some of it might be boring, some of it might be exciting. I don't know, but I'm going to be here along for the ride. This entire series that I'm making right now is going to be for the FDR Logging fans. That's why I'm making this, because I know we don't have huge numbers on YouTube. We're not like the biggest, crazy, huge, I don't get 10,000 views on my videos. Sometimes I'll be lucky to get 500 on a video just because that's the way it works, right? But I know there's a lot of you out there that still watch these and still do love the episodes, and you're the people that I'm doing this for. So I'm going to make these episodes, and if it gets 100 views, so be it. I really don't care. I'm not pushing for high numbers. I just want to give the people that have been supporting me for the longest time a show to watch and something entertaining that's not just time lapses, because I realize the time lapses are boring, listening to the same god-awful YouTube music on repeat. So this will give you guys a little bit of something. So anyway, I just wanted to explain kind of what this series is going to be about, and I'm just going to keep rolling with it. We're just going to log as we go. Should be fun. So, I'm just going to do some loading, and we can hang out and talk about the weather, because weather's not controversial, is it? Well, I guess it could be. You got to be careful with what you're doing these days. So, let me just get my joystick land set up here. There we go. Okay, so loading trucks. Here we go. Hey, here's something funny. So, I get lots of comments. I have short videos on YouTube. I have short videos on Facebook, all over the place. And in these short videos, I do lots of loading stuff, right? So one comment I get from a lot of people is, oh, don't swing the logs over the cab of the truck. And I get that a lot. And I totally know, and I agree. I know that. I have loaded trucks in real life. I know the rules. But there is something to be said about loading over the cab. So, yes, loading over the cab is if you went like this, and we're just obviously in a game, so it's not a big deal. If you load over the cab like this, you don't want these logs ever getting over the cab of the truck, because those things could have rot in them, they could break off, the pieces could fall and hit on top of the truck, killing the driver, breaking the truck, causing damage, all that fun stuff, right? So, in my videos, I think a lot of people get really lost. So I've loaded lots in real life now. I've unloaded and loaded trucks. Drivers do not care if you load from this side, as long as these logs are not going over top of the truck. So in a lot of my videos, what you'll see is it looks like they're going over the cab of the truck, but really the depth perception's there. So I'll bring it in really close to my cab, turn, and then swing. And as you can see, I'm still miles away from the cab of that truck as I swing onto it. So again, I'll try to do this in third person here. So if I'm pulling from the pile, from first person view, it looks like you're swinging over the cab, but you're not. So I bring it in real close to my cab, tilt it, turn it, and then load it onto the actual truck. And as you can see, the ends of those logs do never come in contact with over top of that cab. Now, if you're wildly grabbing them and you're like swinging them way out like that, that's a no-no, because then those little bits could fall onto that truck and damage it or hit the driver or whatever the case, right? So the key is, if you're going to load from this angle, which I've done tons in real life, it happens, unloading and loading, make sure when you're loading from this angle that you're doing really close, bring it in, turn, bring it in, drop it like that. And then you're not actually going, over the cab of the truck itself. And then when you're loading, it works. But I think in lots of my short videos, because there's no depth perception in these videos, when I do those swings, I think a lot of people think that I'm actually throwing it loading over the cab of the truck, and I'm not. And the reason I know this is because I've done it lots in real life, so it's like a second-hand nature to me to load like this. I mean, it is possible in some of those short videos, like when we're playing multiplayer, maybe a log might have gone in the direction of it. But a lot of the times I do this, and I think a lot of people think it's over the cab, but it isn't. Not a big deal, it's a video game, but to real-life operators, it is a very big deal, because safety is a very important factor when loading, especially loading, because this is when accidents happen. And sometimes the trucker is out of his truck. Sometimes the truckers want to get silly and they'll stand like right here where my claw is while you're unloading the truck and loading the truck, and you have to wait for them. I've had to tell a few drivers, or I just wait for them. I just stop, and if I see them, if they're standing like right here and I'm loading the front bunk and they're just being silly or waiting or whatever, I'll just keep my claw here and I'll just wait for them to get back in the truck. I won't even attempt to try to load over where they are because I don't want them getting squished. And I know lots of guys in the bush are probably like, oh, it's fine, it's no big deal. But the one time you screw up and you hit that poor guy in the head, and it'll probably kill him. Hard hat or not, I don't care. You're dead. And I ain't going to be the one that has to explain to that guy's wife that he got crushed because I thought he'd get out of the way. No. As an operator, that's your job to know better, not the person on the ground. Oh, I thought he'd get out of the way. That don't work like that. So be a good operator, be safe. So that's something fun I could address. See, that's not controversial. We can get away with that one, can't we? If this video gets flagged, we'll just... I don't know what to say. That'll be the end. We'll just burn it all to the ground. So yeah, it's interesting to try to do commentary again. I hope it works out. Like I said, it was pretty demoralizing to have that series because I put a lot of work into that series, getting those videos put together, and to have them striked out. I was really not happy about that. I didn't get like a channel strike or anything for it, but yeah, they just pulled the videos and then they muted half the audio in the video, and like, what the hell good is that? And it's funny because the same videos, exact same ones, the audio, so I was ripping the audio out of those videos and I was bringing them over to Spotify because a bunch of people were listening to me on Spotify, right? And the exact same videos got flagged on Spotify. So either it's just the same malicious people that are trying to wipe out my content, or the censorship of the content uses the same algorithm or whatever to detect it, and it just happened to get toasted on both of them. I don't know. Seems pretty odd to me, but I'm just going to walk back to this pile here. I got a pile up on the hill there as well I should go wipe out, but we'll get there. Yeah, anyway, so that was really weird, and I wasn't a super big fan of all of that happening, but it did happen, and that's just part of life. So let's back this guy up here a little bit. Oh, I got one hanging out of my bunk there. Yeah, I think we'll just leave that one. We'll see what happens. Right about there. Yeah, instead, like I said, we can talk about loading, we can talk about modding. Actually, one thing I've always wanted to do, and I think I'm going to do it with this series, I'm going to address the comments in the videos. I've done it in the past, but it was, I don't know, I just kind of fell away from it. But so I get lots of comments from people on YouTube, and I have a very busy life. I work a lot of jobs, and I have a lot of things on the go. So it is actually just me not taking the time to sit down and answer all of the comments and type it all out because I'm usually just way too busy. And when I get home, I want to spend that time modding and putting things together. I don't want to spend it 2 hours trying to type out comments to everybody. I used to have more time and I could do that, but I don't now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dedicate time or those comments into some of these videos themselves. And I'll bring up people's comments that you have. So if you guys have comments, leave them in, or comments or questions, sorry, I guess. Leave them in the bottom of these videos. So the FDR Logging video series that we've now started as of this episode, leave your comments in these videos if you have questions. And I don't care what the questions are. Anything about modding, about, controversial questions, things that you hate about the mods, things that you love about the mods, questions you have about why things that are or aren't there, ask away, and I will do my best to answer them. I may even try to quote you guys and butcher all of your names by saying, this guy asked this. I do have a few general questions that we can go over for different episodes. We'll just call that good for now. Actually, we'll walk up to this other pile that we have way up here. So that's actually good because I actually wrote down some of the questions. So I didn't quote the people asking the questions on some of these, but I know they're general questions that a lot of people have asked, so I just put them into general format. So we have, here's a fun one. Why this is the YouTube related one. So why do I use all the same type of music on my YouTube videos? That's a hilarious one, and I love getting that question because it actually is really funny. So the YouTube music, so the way it works is on YouTube as a creator, we have access to something called the YouTube audio library. And basically, if anyone's created anything, you know, every platform has these audio libraries with copyright-free music. And what that is music that we're allowed to use in our videos that won't get us in trouble for stealing the music from another artist, right? So on these videos, I use pretty much 99%, well, it's 100% music from that audio library. Unfortunately, the music in the audio library is not very good music. It's quite terrible in a lot of cases. But there are a few gems out there. Even right now in the background, I have, as you can probably hear, I have some terrible random, it's very faint, you can barely hear it. I just leave it going for my own mental sanity. But it's basically some like weird little country kind of type music that YouTube Audio Studio had on there. So it's very faint in the background, but it's all free. It's all copyright free. I can use it for whatever I want, basically. And that's kind of the big one for me, is not getting copyright strikes. Because I've tried using other music. I've even tried using other copyright free music. Oh, actually, you know what we need? We need a loader over here. And I'm actually just going to put this loader over here. I'm going to teleport it because we're lazy. We go right about there. Can we get it? Well, we're pretty close. So, yeah, like I said, the selection is very low on what you're able to pick for music. So, this is basically what we got. You'll hear a lot of that band, I can't even pronounce the name, Nefix, which is basically just kind of like some Eminem-style rap kind of music. But I don't know, it's the only good-sounding stuff with a decent beat that's not too repetitive. That's on YouTube for the music. I was kind of hoping they'd come up with newer stuff, but they just haven't. So YouTube is a pretty rough platform for music. So anyway, the reason I use all that music is basically so that we can copyright or get protected from copyright infringement stuff on the channel itself. And that's why we use it. There are some services that allow you to do like subscription type services. And they're good when they work, but unfortunately a lot of the times they don't really work. So you end up using these subscription services for this music. You put the music in your videos. 6 months down the road, that artist that wrote that song that you're using has decided now they don't want to be part of the program. So all the videos that you made with that music are now subject to copyright. And I've had that happen multiple times where it was free music, and then I was like, oh, sweet, well, this is good. And then literally a year later, it says, oh, all these videos that you use this song on, you now have to mute them because that song is no longer copyright free. It's a violently annoying world to deal with as a creator. So that's why I stick to just the free stuff that is on YouTube already, because then I don't have to deal with the dramatic copyright strike stuff. So sorry, that was a bit of a long ranty way to describe why, but that is why myself and lots of other creators use the terrible sounding, boring, it's not all terrible, but a lot of it is really just not great music, and it's repetitive, and there's only so many songs like in the library. I mean, I could go grab a bunch of random classical songs, but I don't think you guys would like that. So I've gone through and I've picked out what I think is the best songs that are on there at the moment, and yeah, unfortunately those are the only ones. So if you watch 100 time lapses from me, it gets a little repetitive because you'll hear the same songs over and over and over and over and over, and it never seems to end. So anyway, I'm glad people ask those questions, because it hopefully answers it for some people. And at the same time, I'm still going to get those questions because not everybody's going to watch this video, but at least I have something I can send it back to you. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to title these episodes with some of the questions I get asked just as a general library point for me. So in the future, if people come back and go, hey Jordan, why do you do X? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why do you do this? I will just be like, well, here, go to this episode, this video, and it explains exactly why I do that. So today we have hit the copyright video. Why do we use the terrible YouTube music that we use? And nothing against that band Nefix, they're really good. I think people have just heard the songs so many times that they're probably sick of them by now, so that's fair. So again, you see as I'm unloading this truck while we're doing things here. Again, to some people it may look like in a short video, or if you're not paying attention, it looks like I'm dragging these over the cab of the truck, but I'm turning them as I go and I slide them like that. I'm nowhere near the cab of that pickup. It's very important. Very important people realize that. I'm still going to get comments about it, but... And the worst part is because this game, again, is in not 3D, is in not stereoscopic. You guys can't see in 3D, so you don't know how far away stuff is from stuff. So right now, it's really hard, even for me, looking at a 2D screen, to tell the distances on where my grapple is compared to real life. Unloading trucks in real life, way easier than doing it in this game, let me tell you. Because in real life, I can see exactly where my claw is all the time with my 3D stereoscopic vision. But in this game, you're kind of hard to tell. And I think that's part of the reason people don't realize how far the truck is from the logs. Because right there, like if I turn like right here, that looks like the logs are going right over top of the truck, right? If I do that. But if you go look, like look how far it is from the actual truck. Like even if I turn that far, like we're nowhere near the truck. We got miles of room. And the key is, and I do this in real life when I unload, so after you clear the stakes, so you get these above the stakes, turn as you go. Because then what you're doing is you're actually getting it further away from the truck. So if I turn the logs as I go, then I swing, now they're super far. They never come even close to contact with the truck. Even though from this view, it looks like I'm swinging them right over top of the truck, right? It looks like, oh no, he's throwing them right over top of the truck. But like, look how far away the truck is. They're nowhere near it. Anyway, I'm sorry to beat that point to death, but I definitely understand from real life doing this that you can't swing from over top of the truck. I get that, trust me. And then the other thing is when you're going to do these fun little things, like you're grabbing these tiny sticks, that's real fun to do. When you're trying to grab a stick and it's tied up in a guy's brake lines, and yeah, it's super fun. In real life, a lot of the time I'll tell the guy to get out and grab one if it's too much of a sketchy grab, just so you don't break something, you know, ruin the guy's day. So if there's a log tied up in the bunk or it's really in a weird spot, I'll just say, hey, there's one tied up in there, you might want to jump out and grab that. If I can grab it and it's not too close to a tire or something, or I can use another log to kind of like shake it off there, then you're good. But yeah, got to be careful with that stuff. Well, I guess we should sell these so we actually get rid of the juice here. Where is the sell point? Oh, back here. Cha-ching! How much do we make off that? 40,000. That's actually incredibly good for a load. Just because they're such tiny little logs. Okay, well, let's go back up to that other pile. I think I'm going to make these videos about somewhere between 25 to 30 minutes long. Same as the logging crew videos. The reason I do that is just because these videos are so huge in file size. Like, they're ridiculous. So I gotta be careful with that so I don't overdo it. If I make them too big, I have issues with uploading, unfortunately. So again, I'm going to park this right about yonder. That should do her. And this is even easier because now we are not swinging over the crab because we're swinging right to left. And this is the ideal way you want to load a truck. But if you've ever unloaded and loaded trucks in real life, unfortunately, it does not always. In fact, a lot of the times you can't do it the way you want to do it. It's just the way it goes. So unfortunately, then you got to fight with it a bit. And sometimes you got to load from the left, and sometimes you got to load from the right. And depending on the terrain, you get what you get. The key is to be safe. Do safe things while you're loading and unloading. If it feels sketchy or there's a serious potential of somebody getting hurt, don't do it. Even if the trucker says, oh, don't be a pussy, do it anyway. Do it. Don't do it. Be the better operator. I have learned that over the years of now operating a lot of different machines at a lot of different places, both in the bush and industrial. It's entirely your fault. At the end of the day, no one's going to be like, well, the trucker said it was okay, so don't worry about it, operator. You know what? He said it was okay, so he died, and you know what? As long as he said it was okay. No, that's never going to happen. They're going to be like, you're the operator, that was your responsibility, and the guy got injured or died, and that's on you. They're not going to go, oh, but. That doesn't happen. So make sure, as an operator, you're always doing the safe thing. And I know old school ways. I work with a lot of old school truckers and a lot of old school operators. And yes, sometimes there is some times where you can do sketchy stuff and get away with it. And if it's more like you're going to cause potential damage to a building or equipment or whatever, that's on you. If you want to make that call as an operator and you think you can do it, go ahead. But if it's ever a person's life that's at risk, or an injury to another worker that's at risk, that's a big no-no for me, and I have a absolute zero tolerance for people doing dumb stuff. Well, actually, I don't care what people do on their own. It's like, hey, buddy, I'm going to go jump off this bridge. I hope I don't break my legs. I'll be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that, but I guess that's your decision to make, so you go ahead. But if they're like, oh, hey, just lift me up with your grapple 60 feet in the air, and I'm just going to try to see if I can change this telephone pole light bulb, I'm going to be like, yeah, no, sorry, man. You need to get a high lift or something, because I'm not doing it. And a lot of guys will get really, really crappy with you, and they'll say, oh, you're just being a sissy. So afraid of safety. And it's like, yeah, well, you know, just protecting both our butts. One, I don't think you're going to enjoy the broken legs and ankles or neck or whatever's going to happen, and I'm definitely not going to enjoy having to explain why I thought that was a good idea to the safety commission and my boss. So that's how I stand on it. And I know lots of guys don't like that, but I have a zero fatality and injury ratio because of that. And some of other people that I've worked with have a rather high one. Not fatality, obviously, but I've definitely know some guys that have got injured doing some really stupid stuff that could have been prevented just because they thought, oh, it'll be fine. And I do agree, some things in safety, some things in the world of safety are a bit crazy. Like, they've gone a little too far, obviously. So, I mean, there's always a give or take on that. But there's certain things that are just outwardly, obviously dumb, and I don't recommend them. So yeah, be safe. That's my advice as an operator. I got like what, maybe 10 years of operating experience, which sounds like a lot, but it's not that much in comparison to a lot of guys out there. And that's the biggest one that I always push, is just don't do things with your equipment that could potentially hurt people. Be safe. But I also agree, some of the stuff is really ridiculous, though. If I need a sign for something, some of the signs, if I need a sign so that people won't do something unsafely, it's pretty sad because some of it's pretty ridiculous stuff. Cinch these up a little bit. They don't have to be perfect on there, but if you can clean them up a little, why not, right? There we go. Okay, we're just gonna march down to this other pile. We should be able to get one more, this one last load over there and unloaded, and then I think we'll be at the end of the video here. But yeah, no, I'm excited to do a little bit of commentary. And like I said, I don't really care if it gets a big popularity or if people watch it or don't. It's not a big deal. I'm doing this, like I said, for the people who are the more long-term fans who used to love the commentary series and really want that back. You guys are the ones I am doing this for, because I've heard it, I've read the emails, I've read the comments, and I'm going to be really gentle with what I say. on the subjects, I guess, and we'll see how it goes. And if we get more video takedown stuff, I'll know something's up. But like I said, these we're going to be real careful, I guess. I thought I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm not even gonna get into it because I could beat that to death, and then I'll probably get another copyright strike complaining about the other videos, or not copyright strike, video dismissal or whatever the hell that was called. So anyway, yeah, I think this will be fun. The other thing is, if you guys have any questions about actual, like the operating, the loading, the why I do anything that I do in these videos, you know, like anything at all, just hit me up and ask in the comments, because I love to talk about stuff. You know, piles, and like I said, now that we have kind of an open commentary while I'm working, I'm going to explain kind of what I'm doing right now. I already have this kind of all set up, ready to load. But when I'm actually processing and doing that stuff in these videos as we go forward, I'll kind of explain, if I'm doing something that looks weird, I'll explain why I'm doing it. And it might seem right to some people, and it might be wrong. And I mean, I'm not no 1,000-year veteran of the bush either, so I mean, some of the stuff I do might not even work in real life, but it works in this game, so I just do it. And a lot of stuff you do in this game absolutely won't work in real life at all, because some of the stuff happening in this game is a little crazy. All right, okay, so we're gonna put that there. I'm just gonna finish up this deck. I should be able to get that on that front bunk there. You can push that one in. That one's kind of annoying me. So this sometimes works where you can open it and kind of just tap it into the other bunk, but they're sometimes a little slippy. So basically, what you're doing is, when you're doing that, is you're letting them slide in your grapple a bit, and then you turn it, and then you bunk them up again. Again, with the little one, it works a lot better with the big ones. These little ones are a little glitchy, but just kind of lets you sync them up. And we'll try to get it right about there. Boop. There we go. And give him a little, just a light flick there. Let's see if I can get that to go down. Guess not. I guess that's where that one's staying. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to end it on this. When we come back in the next one, I will take that truck down. We'll unload it. We're gonna have this wood will be licked up here real fast, because there's only so much to play with, and then I should probably come up and clean up some of these little piles and stuff. But yeah, anyway, first episode in. Hope you guys liked it. We're gonna try to keep this series going as long as possible. And yeah, if you start seeing episodes disappear randomly, I guess that's the way she goes. But we'll see how it goes. We'll tread very lightly on the controversy. I won't get too crazy into any kind of opinionated stuff, I guess. And we'll see how that licks out. But all right, guys. Well, thanks for watching the first episode. And here's to many more. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.